Hey guys, Big Dave here for TGN, and it's Monday, and that means it must be time for Warfronts. Yeah, that's right, Warfronts! Exclamation mark. I'm going to do this little intro a couple more weeks explaining what the show is. After that, if you don't know what it is, whatever. Warfronts is my weekly Rift PvP show where an average PvE player, that would be me, attempts to get better at Rift's PvP Warfronts through self-analysis. Now, how exactly do I plan to do that? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we use the guidelines. Yeah, that's right, the guidelines. Know them, love them. Subscribe to their personal channel. It's in the description below. This week on Warfronts, we will be taking my level 30 Bard Spec Rogue into Whitefall Steps Escalation Mode. Yes, Escalation is the alternative mode for Whitefall Steps, which is normally a capture the flag map in which resources, source stone resources spawn in the center of the map, and you must secure 3 for your team. But of course, it's not as easy as it sounds because the other team is trying to do the exact same thing, and even if you do get one back to your base, they can always steal it from you. So as I hope you've heard me say in a past episode of Warfronts, this is not a PvP highlight show. Okay, there will be no pro PvP skills put on display here. In fact, I'm not that great at Warfronts, and that's the only reason the show exists, so that I can look at my subpar performances and try to get better. Last couple of weeks, we've had some decent performances, not as much to learn from those. I'm excited because this week, we do not have a super great performance. I do okay, my team does horribly, and we get some really good examples of how not to handle yourselves in Whitefall Steps Escalation Mode. So with all that out of the way, there's no reason to delay. There's only one thing left to say. To the action. Alright, for all you skippers, level 30 Bard Spec Rogue, Whitefall Steps Escalation Mode. This is going to be a good one, guys. Not because the performance is great, but because the learning opportunity is great, which means the performance is bad. Just in case you were wondering, I don't know why I'm whispering. Okay, guys, so if you're not familiar with Whitefall Steps Escalation Mode, it is the alternate mode that's available on the weekends. It has increased favor gains. We all like that. And it involves you controlling 3 source stones. This map is very center-centric, if I may say that confusing-sounding term. The reason I say that is because everything is about control of the center of the map, this little iced-over area in the middle of the map here. Because you need to claim 3 source stones, and they all spawn in here in the center. So if you take a look, what do you see? You see that they claim the center. We do not. I'm playing support, so I'm depending on my melee characters to move up into that zone so that I can support them. They don't. So I stay sort of off to the side, and they do as well. In fact, they fall back even further. I'm looking back towards our spawn right there. So that's, yeah. Now, the one nice thing here is that even though the other team absolutely and totally claim the center, somehow we have a couple of guys who sneak around while they're distracted killing us and snatch the stone, the first stone that spawned in. Slurpee there makes the ninja move, but because they have firm control of the center, poor little Slurps is not going to last very long. As you can see, we got fairly well wiped here as at least half of the team is spawning back in. And yeah, so poor Slurpee, he puts up his best effort, but there it is. He drops the stone and they grab it immediately. And they abscond with it back towards their base. So now is our opportunity to restake a claim to the center. Alright, bummer. You know, they grabbed it. We could try to trail them. We could try to grab that particular stone back, but we would be better served by just staking a claim to the center. Not going to happen. Look where we are. Look where the other team is dictating that the battle happens. And look what we're doing. We're allowing them to dictate that. Again, I'm a support character. I don't have a lot of a role to play in how hard my team pushes. And that's unfortunate. I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to make sure that my motifs are constantly rolling. I'm cadencing like a mofo to constantly heal. And I'm trying to do my job. I'm trying to play my role. And in this case, I get rolled. So there we go. At this point, things just not looking that great. We do seem to have some damage on Raiden. It's great spelling there. We have some damage on their shard carrier. We do get him down, but they've already moved that shard very close to their base, so there's not going to be a lot of chance for us to recover it. Respawn waves will allow them to pretty easily secure that. Again, what we need to be doing, what we should be doing, is securing the center. But we're so far from the center, the battle's actually taking place right here, outside of our spawn. What in the crap? Okay, so we have someone here who wants to play with us. That's fine. Wow, Raiden actually got it back again. Raiden is the Thunder God indeed. So this little harasser here makes a very good showing, managing to live for quite a long time under heavy harassment. What is that, cleric? Must be a cleric. But we're determined, we're going to take him out. Again, here I go. Again, what do we see? Yeah, look where the battle's taking place. Not that great. But at least we are moving them now back towards the center. It's a good thing. A second spawn in now. Okay. Anything we can... No. Yeah. Not even pushing over towards it. Now, in this case, I could have pushed over to try to do something. But again, I'm a support character. I'm highly outnumbered. That's a tough sell for me to go and do that. I mean, I need to be here amongst my peoples, peppering them with thousands of tiny, tiny heals so that we can hopefully retake the center, and when the third Source Stone spawns in, secure that and maybe start a little bit of a comeback. Wouldn't that be nice? So here we go. Things are looking up. We've moved into a good position. Not quite equal. We're just north of the center right now, but we're within striking distance of any stone that would spawn in from here. That's fantastic. I am doing everything I can to support here. Cadence, which is pretty much cadence, motif. Yeah, but such is the life of a bard. Now we've actually moved up and we have claimed the lion's share of the center. Awesome, fantastic. And we do have some, I believe, we have a few guys at this point who are sneaky towards the other base to try and maybe snatch a stone. And that is one of the interesting dynamics of escalation mode. Not only do you have to control them, or not only do you have to take them, you have to control them. You have to hold them. And there we go. Just as the next storm stone appears, I die. In that case, I probably didn't have my eyes forward enough. The enemy started to encroach on the center. I did not do such a good job of responding and moving back with my team. So again, our hero, Mr. Slurpee. Slurpee manages to grab that Source Stone, in part because of the efforts of myself and my teammates who were holding on to the center there for just a few precious minutes. It was enough to allow Mr. Slurps to snatch that, but since most of us got wiped, there was no support there for Slurpee. Oh wait, he dropped it and picked it back up. Oh, clever, Mr. Slurpee. I thought you were dead. So now the hero Slurpee, heading for our cannon to power it up with a Stormstone. So immediately, what do I want to do? I want to try to give him space. So I do what I can here to slow the pursuers. Man, is that a cleric? That thing is moving. Look at that little guy go. So I quickly get overwhelmed, and with my dying breath, I strum a mesmerizing verse just as I die. Oh, Verse of Fascination. It didn't do a lot, but it was 2 or 3 seconds where those two guys were completely immobile. So as you can see, we're flirting with a comeback here. Hey, maybe a little comeback. We just got a secure stone. Unfortunately, you did see the force of defiance, or excuse me, the force of guardians that were pouring through our front gate. Yeah, doesn't bode too well for us. A new Stormstone has appeared, and I would imagine we're fairly back on our heels at this point because it took so much for us to get the one stone. And look at that. Now the one stone that we did secure has been stolen. Alright, well Garnet, excuse me, he manages to grab the newly spawned stone, or there are 3 stones in play. I don't know where the third one came from. But anyway, Garnet grabbed a stone. So I see the absconding carrier here, Mr. Maxion, and we try to do everything we can to slow him, to bring him to a halt. He has ample escort here, meaning that I'm not going to be able to do too much other than just harass him to the best of my ability for a minute or so, yes, before the life is brutally drained from my body, which happens right here in this area. And there we go. So all in all, what are the things that we haven't been doing? They have all 3 stones now, and we'll get the victory before this respawn timer expires. So what are the things that we were doing incorrectly here? Well, we weren't claiming the center. We were occasionally grabbing a stone. Okay, that was fine, but we needed to have more control. In the end, this, what looked for a moment to be a comeback, was soundly crushed, and what ends up almost seeming like a dominating victory is our result here as the Guardian side takes it. So a quick look at the statistics. I did all right. You know, I'm putting out my support heals. What more can you really ask from me as a support character? I tried to do everything I could to support my team, to pour on the AoE healing, which the Bard, of course, is known for. I did okay in damage for a support class. Of course, I have to damage in order to do my healing, so that's not a surprise. Decent amount of favor, a few deaths, 1 killing blow, average number of kills, and so forth and so on. So, again, I did a fair amount of healing, top for my team. I did what I could, but in the end, we didn't have enough of a cohesive performance. We did not control the center, and we ultimately failed. And now let's move on to what we learned this time. Lessons learned. So we reinforced the lesson, the one lesson that is omnipresent in every episode of Warfronts: control is king. He who controls the center controls the Warfront. So from minute number 1, we never staked a claim to the center, and that was it. Even though Slurpee managed to grab that first source stone, it just didn't matter because he was never going to make it back to our base without us having actual control, firm control of the center. This game was essentially lost in the first few minutes, and that is not surprising. That's usually what happens. One team steps up, the other team steps back, and the battle is won right then and there. So what else did we learn? Well, I learned that I do need to keep my camera at a better orientation so that I can see the battle lines as they move. There was a couple of times where I got caught when the enemy pushed forward, and my camera was facing more of an overhead view, and I didn't notice that my team was falling back and their team was moving forward, and that meant that I got caught in the midst of a Guardian gangbang. And as we all know, nobody walks away from one of those happy. And finally, I learned that sometimes you're just the best player on a bad team. And I don't want that to sound the wrong way, because I did not have a great performance. I didn't keep my motifs rolling well at all times. I wasn't constantly using all of the tools at my disposal. I was not always healing as much as I could and as frequently as I could. But I was doing my job pretty well. I couldn't push the line forward. I couldn't help the DPS perform better. All I could do was try to keep everybody alive and allow them to do what they were supposed to do. Look, whether you're DPS, whether you're a healer, whether you're support, whether you're tank, whatever, a flag carrier build, you can't do it all alone. Slurpee was great at getting those flags, but he didn't have the support necessary, either healing or damage, to get those flags home every time. You know, this is the game. This is how it works. It is a team game, whether you want it to be or not. And that's really what I learned here today, and I hope that's what you saw. You can't succeed without everybody on the team doing what they should be doing and doing it well. We didn't have that, and so we lost. And with that, we will put episode number 15 of Warfronts in the books. Guys, please bear with me as I try to get more content here for the TGN Rift channel. I would love to put more than one show a week out. Right now it's not in the cards. Although I have spent the last weekend celebrating Rift's half birthday by pushing the hell out of my mage, leveling. I got 3 levels over the weekend. I'm at level 43. I will be pushing to level 50 over the next week or so, and I will at least then have a character that can provide you with some level 50 content. Don't forget, TGN Idol, TGN Games. There are Rift directors over there trying out for TGN who would love your support. Check out their Rift videos and like them and comment on them. Let the staff know that you want more directors, you want more content on TGN Rift. All right, guys, I'll see you back here next Monday for another episode of Warfronts. And until then, take it easy.